Hello, everybody, and welcome to our commentary of The Artist. Basically, everybody, you know how now everybody nowadays just sees the Oscars as nothing but a joke because the Oscar awards nowadays are of anything but merit. Well, 2011 was, in my perspective, at least in my opinion, the last time a movie did genuinely earn its Academy Award accolades. Specifically, The Artist. What is The Artist, you may wonder? The Artist is a passion project directed by and written, directed, and edited by Michel Hazanavicius, a French director. After he made 2 James Bond parody movies, he gained enough money in France so he could finally finance his big passion project, a love letter to the 1920s era of cinema. So basically, everybody, The Artist is a silent movie. A silent movie done to match exactly how movies in the 1920s were made. A 4:3 aspect ratio, intertitles between dialogues, black and white. It's basically trying to be as authentic as possible recreation of how 1920s movies were made. He even brought in all of his creative team, including his buddy composer Ludwig Birch, to do the score. And let me tell you, the score in this movie is amazing. So basically, everybody, what you have here is basically a big love letter to the golden age of Hollywood, and it's absolutely wonderful. My co-commentaries here, if I remember correctly, Jove, have you seen this movie?
No, but I have heard about it a lot.
The Dwebs, you and I that's the thing. Me, Dwebs, and Teo actually did have a commentary. Unfortunately, the audio got lost. But knowing Dwebs, he probably doesn't even remember a single thing about this movie anyway, so it's going to be new for him, possibly anyway. So, alright, everybody. So, there's kind of a problem with this movie, apparently, where the digital versions on Amazon and YouTube and whatever are apparently shorter than the Blu-ray version, because the Blu-ray version has the exact same runtime as you see on IMDb, 100 minutes. But for some reason, the digital versions are 4 minutes shorter. I don't understand what is the cause of this, especially because Dwebs' digital copy has one more logo than the Blu-ray version. So if anything, it should be longer.
The only way I could see is if maybe the YouTube and Amazon and iTunes versions cut down on the credits, maybe.
I don't even understand, but whatever. Basically, everybody, we're going to bite the bullet and see how things go. Hopefully, we don't have to redo this commentary a third time. So hopefully this one will actually go well. Fingers crossed. All right, everybody. So if you're using the Blu-ray, just start right before the Weinstein Company logo. If you're doing the digital copy and it has what's the logo? The first logo again, Dwebs?
Entertainment Film Distributors.
If you have a copy that has that logo in it, start in the black screen right after that logo, because right after that it's the Weinstein Company logo, which is the first logo that appears for me and Jova. So you should be in sync with us if you follow these instructions. So let's do this. 3, 2, 1, click. The Artist is actually one of my all-time favorite movies, just because I absolutely love the story, the acting, and the overall incredible way it manages to, let's just say, tell a story in a way that perfectly fits its own style.
So is it as good as The Disaster Artist?
Well, I wouldn't put it in the same thing. The Disaster Artist and Ed Wood are movies that are a specific tribute to a specific film or filmmaker. In the case of Ed Wood.
So basically, this studio is run by a mobile phone company.
Yeah, The Artist is not. The Artist is not is not a love letter to a specific movie or filmmaker. It's a love letter to the 1920s, basically.
So a film style.
Yeah.
So you say that this guy did James Bond parodies?
Yes,
huh?
This was back in France, and if I remember correctly, those movies never came out outside of France anyway. But this movie was actually made for American audiences in mind, because it's considering it's basically a love letter. This is a family. This is a love letter to 1920s Hollywood. So he actually shot this in America. He even brought in some American actors and everything. So yeah, The Artist stars Jean Dujardin. Jean Dujardin is a a French actor who's basically the director's.
McDowell, eh?
Yes, Michael McDowell is in this movie. Yes, and Jean Dujardin was actually the James.
Wait, John Goodman?
Yes, John Goodman is in this movie too. And yes, this music is so reminiscent of Bernard Herrmann. Sorry, for those who don't know, he was the composer of some of Hitchcock's old movies. So it
I
really.
feel like I'm watching an old Looney Tunes cartoon with this opening.
Well, remember, Joe, but that was kind of how music was composed at the time.
Oh, yeah.
There you
Fun
go.
fact, it used to be that often how a movie would go was like, well, you
So,
have
hold
an
on.
audience.
So
but
the
then
story starts in 1927. Keep this in mind, because there's going to be a timeline of sorts.
With a man being electrocuted.
Yes. All right, everybody. So yeah, if you've ever seen a silent black and white film, you already know how this goes. Pay attention because you need to read the intro titles because sound wasn't a thing back then.
Basically, folks, the way a lot of movies went was back in the day, you came to a theater and there would... Okay, here's how it went. Either the music was sort of recorded into the movie, or they had an orchestra who would play while the movie was going on.
Yeah.
I kid you not, an orchestra would literally be down there.
That's what they're
playing
doing
while
right
the
there.
movie is going on.
That's what they're doing right there, as you can see.
Yeah.
No. Michel Zanavicius is a huge fan of this particular era of Hollywood, and this was his big passion project that he's always wanted to do. But yeah, like I was saying, the main character is played by Jean Dujardin, a French actor who's Michel Hazanavicius' go-to actor. He was the actual James Bond knockoff guy in those James Bond parodies that I mentioned before. He's an incredibly charismatic actor. The best way I can describe him to you is, imagine if Clark Gable had the charm of Charlie Chaplin.
Interesting.
As you can see, he has the look of a Clark Gable, but the way he acts and the way he acts in the silent film is very reminiscent of Chaplin.
He's like the Batman of the 1920s in this movie.
And by the way, that dog is an amazing actor. In fact, because of the popularity of this movie, Nintendo actually got this dog to be a mascot for Nintendogs back in the day. So
Wait, really?
yes. So
Huh. You know, I can only imagine the pressure of the orchestra.
Jova, please be silent behind the screen, if you please.
Yeah, actually, you mentioned Jova earlier.
What?
On quite a few silent movies, on occasion, they sometimes redo the music scores for old silent movies. Sometimes, like there was this film called that I actually watched as part of. I think it was part of my film course at university. Well, film unit to be exact. Called the Battleship Potemkin. I think it was for a university course. It might not have been. And it got a rescore around 2004 by of all people,
Hey, John
the Pet
Goodman.
Shop Boys.
Yeah. Basically, okay. One cool thing that I also like immediately in the movie is that you can tell that Hazanavicius knows what he's doing because one of the one things you have to realize, everybody. Yes, of course, obviously when you have intertitles every time like that. However, you also have to understand. However,
it's a silent film within a silent film.
Exactly. But one thing you guys have to also understand is that back then movies primarily focused on as much visual storytelling as they could because they didn't want an intertitle for every 2 seconds to pop up, of course, because that would destroy the pacing of the movie. So usually the movies of this era only had an intertitle when they felt like it was necessary, and they would always try to prioritize visual pantomime. Which is why back in these days, actors were acting. The acting in these movies was way more over the top than you see in today's films because it was needed because there was no audio that the actors could use to convey their emotions. So they had to rely on overly exaggerated facial expressions and movements. So So yeah, Jean Dujardin plays the main character, George Valentine. And as you can see, the public loves him.
So from what I understand, this is a film basically about the transition from silent movies to talkies.
Very good, Debs. Yes, basically, everybody. The best way I can look at this. The best way I can describe. Oh, I love this one. Good doggy.
I will get you.
The best way I can describe this movie, everybody, is imagine Singing in the Rain, but from the perspective of the silent movie stars.
How fitting, since Malcolm McDowell's in this movie.
Also, Missy Pyle as well.
Yes.
Well, I mean, hey, at least she's in
I will get you for this.
At least it's a better movie that Missy Pyle was in than Home Alone 4.
So, and yeah, as you can see, George Valentine can be a bit of a crowd cheering hog.
Uh-huh. Oh, now, it's not ladylike.
Just hope you accidentally fall on stage arguing. Yeah, I wonder how they recorded this. Did they do all the vocal acting but then mute the audio?
We have
Probably.
no. Well, actually, Debs, no. What happened was, Michel, according to interviews, Michel tried his best to recreate the conditions of how usually these movies were made. Specifically, they even had music. He even had old music playing in the background for the actors to, try to keep their mind the right mindset. Because the way silent films were made back in the day, actors never actually spoke their lines properly because they didn't need to. They knew that the intertitles were going to show up and do that job for them. So a lot of times you will see intertitles show up, but the previous lip sync you might have seen maybe doesn't quite match up because they just flap your mouth. We'll just add an intertitle later in post production, basically.
It's like when Laura and Hardy, when they started off, their films were silent, but then they made the talkies and did pretty well.
Yeah, Michel wanted to do a proper throwback, not a half-assed one. So he properly made the movie that way too. Oh. I love this one.
Oh, how amusing.
And yeah, Ludovic Burch's score is beautiful. And just like in those days, it tries its best to properly emulate the emotion that you're supposed to feel. Like if there's some kind of awkward moment, the music will literally stop to properly induce the audience into an awkward mood. Because since at the time, it was harder to convey that mood.
But of course.
So yeah, who's that girl that just kissed George Valentine?
Oh, let me guess, it's his future wife.
Well, actually, no, he already is married.
He already has a wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Why, yes, I did see Citizen Kane movie.
I haven't.
This movie is full of old movie references and Easter eggs for film buffs to notice.
You're leaving me for a dog, you sicko!
Well, what can I say? The dog gets me.
Not that much, though, surely.
Well,
You see what I mean? He has a pantomime of a chaplain.
So that dog was actually the mascot of Nintendogs for a bit.
Yep.
Thanks to this movie.
This movie at the time was made a big deal in terms of press. It was loved by both critics and audiences, and it won the the Oscars for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Score. I think also Best Editing. It won 5 Oscars. I remember that much. I think this one here, Bernice Bejo, also won for Best Actress, if I remember correctly.
Ah, yes, I remember back when Hollywood was called Hollywoodland.
But yeah, this is Peppy Miller, and I love her theme, by the way. And she wants to become an actress, just like her idol, George Valentine. So let's go for an audition.
And she has to sit next to Malcolm McDowell while she waits.
Actually, Dibs, yeah, Malcolm McDowell will keep her company while she waits, yes.
Interesting thing, Missy Pyle and Malcolm McDowell both have one thing in common. They were, well, in Malcolm McDowell's case, was going to be in a Home Alone movie. Unfortunately, those were Pyle being in 4 and McDowell being in 5.
Hey, Malcolm. Great to see you in a good movie again.
So, which Home Alone was worse, 4 or 5?
I honestly can't tell you.
I'll let the devil come and choose for you.
Yeah, put it this way. For as much as Home Alone 2 kind of riffs off a lot of jokes on the first movie, at least those jokes are still funny.
Better hope you can dance.
Also,
Well, let's see.
are they doing a musical?
Well, Dibs, movies at the time had a lot of dancing in it.
And the 1920s was that sort of rambunctious time in
James
USA
Miller,
history.
Peppy Miller.
Considering it was all about the score and the actors' movements, moves with a lot of dancing were one of the primary ways to go about it.
Yeah, that picture looked a bit like David Niven.
Yeah, notice how that guy's line didn't get an intertitle. That's because, again, like in true silent film fashion, it's not needed. We can tell, we can gather on what he's saying, so we don't need to see an intertitle for that. Hey, handsome.
Oh, I recognise him. He's he plays the guy who invented hyperspeed in I think that's the right terminology in Star Trek First Contact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, James Cromwell, I think.
Yeah, James Cromwell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that why they considered to be the best of the next generation.
And yeah, much like Clark Gable was the big star of MGM, and Humphrey Bogart was the big star of Warner Brothers, George is the big star of Kinograph Studios.
Of course.
Back when competition between Hollywood film studios was, I'll say more narrow than it is now. And also, I don't even think 20th Century Fox was a thing. Yeah, I think
I don't think
they
so.
either weren't made yet, or it was just 20th Century Pictures.
No, if I remember correctly, Fox only came about in the 1950s. I do remember there was an early black and white.
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay. I do remember there was an early 20th Century Fox black and white logo. I remember there was that, at least. I don't remember but I don't think they were around the 1920s.
There was 20th Century Pictures, then Fox Films, then they merged in the mid-30s to make 20th Century Fox. And it carried on that way until Disney.
My God, I love this musical score.
Also, Clouds. Are they filming the Warner Brothers logo?
Possible.
The music is nothing but pure joy.
All your nonsense. They don't mention our movie until page 5.
But yeah, think about it from the composer's perspective. Ooh, a silent film. So basically, it's a great opportunity for me to shine. No actor dialogue running out the music, so I could just go all out.
Oh, what are the chances that the same girl he fooled around with might be on the other side of that screen?
Well, it could be an entirely different girl for all he knows.
The legs don't lie, Dwibs. And apparently neither does a rear end.
Hi.
George Goodman is not amused. But yeah, George Goodman plays the studio head.
Why did he fire her?
I think you mean John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman. That's it. Sorry. Yeah.
I swear he fired her.
And whoop! There we go.
It's just I was trying to lip read, and it looked like he said he's fired. It looked like he said you're fired or something.
What a perky coincidence meeting you here.
Turns out I'm the new actress in the studio.
Oh boy. Hopefully this doesn't lead to a
I'm gonna hate
scandal.
working with you.
Oh, where are you going, miss? We have a picture to shoot. Besides, we can't let that little bit of a paper get in the way of show business.
We can put her in a movie, can't we?
Oh, golly, with everybody staring, that makes me feel a little awkward.
Look like they're both looking at each other like, really? Do we have to do this?
All right. Take one. And action. That's not how it's supposed to work. Yeah. Take two. It's called A German Affair.
That sounds like a James. That sounds like a James Bond film name.
Yeah, Michel Hazanavicius is a big James Bond fan, as evidenced by the two movies he made before this.
Yeah.
So and even this actor is kind of a James Bond actor of the time. So
Since he was a parody actor, I guess, in that.
Yeah. But the great thing about this movie is that it allows Jean Dujardin to show how he's also great in dramatic acting as well. But go ahead.
So the James Bond parody films, were they of more the comedic nature, or they actually tried to play things straight?
I haven't actually seen them, but from what I've seen, they're full blown comedies, like Austin Powers type comedies. That they're complete wacko, basically.
Ah, okay then.
Come on, mate, you're dancing. Be happy.
Well, remember, Dwebs, supposedly the context for the scene in the movie is that he's supposed to be a secret agent, and like he's in a mission and shit. So.
Oh, this will be great for the blooper reel.
Okay,
oh wait, no, those
5.
weren't invented yet.
Take 5.
Take 5, indeed.
There you go. Now it's take 5. There you go. Okay.
Well, I think I finally figured out the why the copy my copy might be a bit shorter.
So what happened?
in spite of it being a digital version, this sounds like those bloody PAL speed ups.
Ah.
Why would they release a PAL? It was 2000. It's a 2011 movie. You'd think by this point on digital they would like why whatever.
They were still doing that, it seems. Okay, then. So, it's the return of our good old friend, the PAL format. Oh, God. Imagine if we combine the PAL frame rate with the messed up frame rate of the Hobbit movie.
Wish I could. I need to invent time travel and go back in the time when that German dude who invented the PAL refresh rate, like, and I could tell him, no, dude, don't. Just don't. Just leave it as it is.
Okay. So, guys, imagine this. The PAL frame rate combined with the hokey frame rate of the first Hobbit film.
Oh God.
Oh God. I would be surprised if cinemas across the land were flooded with puke.
Oh God.
But yeah, as we know,
But in this case, there's nothing I can really do about it, so we're gonna have to.
At least we know the reason.
So yeah, Pep and FIFA. Oh look, guys, look at the background. That poster, FIFA of her heart. Ha ha ha.
Get it?
I thought you were gonna say FIFA isn't the football organization.
Nah.
But yeah, now she left her some kind of message on the mirror.
As in FIFA the football. Oh, I love this jacket so much.
It fills me with quite unusual feelings.
Peppy.
Oh boy. That is lustful, honey. That is very lustful.
You have to think that I get what it's going for. It's meant to portray her falling in love with.
No. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. No, we've already done the love thing. It's more so the fact that she flat out has fantasies with the guy.
Stroking his jacket. She's doing that already.
Well, she's closer than most fangirls have got. What the?
Excuse me, madam. I wonder why you are stroking my jacket.
Oh God, she was stroking herself through the jacket as well.
Well, this is awkward.
I can explain. Somebody paid me money
Not
to
to
do
be an
this.
actress, you need to have something the others don't.
Yeah, I was
you're quite ahead of
my
us.
romance
Yes.
scene. Of course he finds this charming. If you want to be an actress, you need to have something the others don't.
Yeah, you might want to.
Crazy fetish for jackets. You got that already.
Considering the out of sync stuff, you guys might want to stop reading the intertitles because it would be weird to have you guys read like as you both of you have different times of it. It's. There you go. See, a little fake mole of sorts to.
Okay, so what's the moral of the story of this scene, guys? Don't stroke other people's jackets. I think that's the moral. I'm pretty sure.
There's no specific moral. It's more so there's a theme to the story, but not so much a message. Well, okay. I guess you can kind of see it as a message, but the message will only become relevant at the end of it. So. Oh, thank you. Good doggy. All right, so this particular track that you're hearing right now is actually not an original piece. It's actually an old song from the time, and it's why it sounds very,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is the first time. This is the first time in a while that we've watched a movie where I didn't have to rely on subtitles because I had to turn the audio down. Mainly in this case because, well,
Yeah.
it's a silent movie.
So yeah, Peppy is now doing secondary roles. She's moving up the food chain, it seems.
Pepe Bill.
Come on, all that's missing is the table getting longer between the two.
Is that to represent how far she has to come as an actress?
Yes, Ribs, that is the subtext. Thanks for spelling it out.
I was talking about between him and his wife, actually.
Well, yeah, that's what Liz was talking about too, I think.
No, I was on about the new actress.
Peppy. No. Joe was talking about the wife.
Okay, so in terms of box office, this film cost $15 million, and it did pretty well. It made $133.4 million.
All right, 1929. Now, Dwips, question.
Yeah.
To see if you know your film history. What happened in the late 1920s?
The transition to talkie started.
Very good, Dwips.
Yes, this is where music would actually be recorded into the film more often than, per se, having an orchestra play by. And this is where, of course, audio would play more of a direct role in the films.
Exactly. Oh, look, it's Napoleon.
Yeah, that one of those guys earlier. He kind of looked like that guy from The Princess Bride. You're the one who was like, "You killed my father. Prepare to die."
Inigo Montoya.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He does look a bit like him.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's an intentional reference to Princess Bride.
Even though that film came out in the 80s.
Oh, Princess Bride was kind of a throwback to a lot of the bit of older ones. Ha!
So let's see what's this thing that John Goodman wants to show him. Sound test. Holy shit! Someone talking in a movie!
My career is over.
I love how John Goodman is the stereotypical studio executive who smokes big cigars all the time.
This is but just a fad. There's no way these will catch on.
Nah. It's kind of the same thing as with the Lumiere brothers. For the record, when the Lumiere brothers created the first ever camera and film, it was called Train Arrived at the Station, which is literally just a train arriving at a station. They were convinced that films were just a passing fad as well. Hindsight is cool sometimes.
Yeah. Hell, even in recent
Yeah,
years,
this is actually the first time that the movie does a direct reference. Yeah, exactly. Don't laugh, George. That's the future.
Oh my god. Things are making sounds as I
Oh,
touch.
that's the future, then you can have it. Meh.
Yeah. So yeah, this is actually historically accurate, actually, but I'll explain it later.
It sort of had to
Whoa,
do with
whoa.
this.
What?
Oh, snap.
The hell?
Did I just hear sound?
So much sound, I can't take it.
What is happening to my world?
And yeah, I can't talk. What the hell is happening here?
Get it?
Huh? Even the dog.
So that laughter will represent his career in maybe a year or two from this point.
It is kind.
Also, wait a minute, a black feather falling onto the ground. What, is Sephiroth the main villain now?
Wow, you already got through that point? Jeez, you're so ahead of us.
Basically, folks, here's the thing about, the talkies as they were called back then. Maybe back then it seemed like a fad, but it sort of became kind of evident later down the line that talkies were just, superior to silent films in every way. Don't get me wrong. The whole silent film stuff is a nice medium here and there, but if you were to actually look at what's practical, being able to convey more via speech was kind of, more productive than, say, only being able to show stuff in short intervals, which would add on to the runtime of movies all the same.
It also made post-production a lot easier, because you didn't have to create intertitles.
That, and they could do a lot more with talkies, as a matter of fact, as well.
Exactly. The problem is, Jova, and this is the first ever real-life parallel that this movie employs, is that a lot of actors didn't like the shift at all, because they were used to this specific method of acting, and this was a whole new reality. And some people, there were even actors whose careers got destroyed because they weren't able to make the transition from silence to talkies.
This is like how Kodak...
Some did manage to make the transition, others weren't.
Yeah.
It's like...
it's kind of like how...
Didn't Ed Wood touch upon that a bit?
I don't think so. I mean, when Ed Wood started making movies, talkies were already the norm by that point.
It might have been something else. So.
Ed Wood started making movies in the 1950s. By that point, silent movies were dead. So
it's a good example, though, a transition here. It's like how Kodak, paragons of the camera industry, kind of lost out on the camera industry because they foolishly thought that digital photography would be just a passing fad.
Kinograph Studios stops all silent productions to work exclusively on talkies.
Oh boy.
But yeah, can we take a moment to appreciate how amazingly clever that dream sequence was, and how surprisingly scary it came across? because when I first watched this movie in theaters, I much like George, I was also thinking, whoa, sound all of a sudden, because by that point the movie I was like in full immersed into the silent style. So it was such a clever way to showcase George's state of mind right now.
But my face does talk, not that kind of talking. Yes, the public is never wrong, and that will always be a thing throughout the history of movies.
Yeah, remember back when film studios actually cared what the public wanted? Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah.
Wonder when
nowadays we just have movie studios that do nothing but completely, stuff like Terminator: Dark Fate, Last Jedi, and other or like all of these movies that do nothing but crap on the audience.
Yeah, I would love to see a movie where part of its gimmick is that whatever happens to the characters happens to the audience, and like say a character has crap chucked on them, they throw crap onto the audience from the roof. You can't get much more interactive than that.
So looks like George is going solo.
I'll make my own movie with blackjack and silent hookers.
But we can't have hookers.
The new faces of Kinograph. So yeah, One day you're at the top, the other day not.
Fresh meat.
Oh, hi, Moneypenny. I mean, I'm sorry, wrong movie.
Huh. How nice. Ooh.
About that. Yeah. But yeah, unlike George, it looks like Pepe had no trouble at all in transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's that easy to get a woman's number. Well, then again, he is our idol, so.
Uh-huh.
I see where they're going with this scene. The more down the stairs he goes, he's not exactly. The further down he goes on the pecking order.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. This movie loves to do visual subtext.
Well, I mean, without sound, well, except for the music.
Another great thing about this, the acting in this movie is flawless. Like, the actors do such a fantastic job in doing all the necessary pantomime for the murder scenes, but at the same time conveying more subtle emotions whenever there's something a bit more somber in tone. But yeah, very good, Webbs. You're doing a great job spelling out the visual subtext.
I'm the unnecessary narrator.
So, honey, had a fine day?
Yeah, I had a decent day. I did my 5th talking movie this year. What have you done?
This was the 1920s, so women just stayed at home while the husbands did the work. So she just stayed here doing nothing, I think. And taking care of the house, most likely. Well, then again, they have a butler, so yeah. So yeah, now George Martin is gonna write and direct his own movie.
Oh boy, he's like the 1920 version of Robert Rodriguez.
I would equivalent more to Charlie Chaplin because he's the writer, director, producer, and star of Tears of Love.
About composer, wasn't he that too?
Yeah, Chaplin was also the composer, true. But yeah, the closest analogy I can think of is Chaplin.
It's because he also stars in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
October 25th.
So, Dwibs, are you going to see Tears of Love on October 25th?
Oh, well, you see the latest talkie instead.
Now I'm going to see the talkie. Besides, those silent films are just so passé.
So yeah, financing his movie and this movie entirely on his own. So,
Well, he's a famous actor, so I guess he must have some money for it.
all right.
Just better hope that this is a success.
I will keep silent films alive. God damn it.
October 25th. Oh, it's gonna be packed.
Here's the problem, though. Guess what other movie premieres on October 25th?
Oh, ho, ho.
Yeah,
Literally the same day.
Beauty Spot with Peppy Miller in the starring role. I'm not a puppet, I'm an artist.
Talkies are not serious for George Valentine. It's my money!
I love that tagline. Peppy Miller, the girl you'll love to love. So yeah, looks like Peppy's movie is being loved by all critics.
It's certainly getting a close opening. Oh dear.
It's time for the talk, George.
Why he
Get
refused
it?
to talk to me?
Get it? Eh?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, so are millions of us, honey.
Oh yeah, the Great Depression and all that.
Very good, Jova. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like Jova said, back in good old America back in the day, yeah, there was a Great Depression going on, and as you can probably guess, that also took its toll on the film business.
What business didn't it take its toll on?
Well, obviously,
Oh.
but I just mentioned that for the purposes of the commentary we're doing.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't want to bring any unnecessary sad history to the table. And now another thing you can see also is that it looks like Peppy is also becoming quite very much like her idol in a lot of ways, in the sense that she's become quite a big spotlight hog of sorts.
Huh.
Fun fact,
What can I say? I'm a natural.
Berenice Bejo, who plays Peppy, she's Michelle Hasanovich's daughter. She's the director's daughter. Sorry, not daughter, sorry, wife. Sorry, wife. Ugh.
Ooh.
Oh, looks like Peppy agrees with you, Dubs.
Still won't put it that way, though.
How awkward that her very idol is right behind her.
Pantomime now. He's behind you.
Oopsie. starting to regret our choice of words now, are we?
So
All
how long
right.
is it going to take for the roles to be reversed and her career to start falling downhill?
Well, Dwebs, let's try and see what happens before we start making predictions. So yeah, speaking of history, yeah, time. It's about time. Yes, exactly.
Ah, yes, the stock market crash.
Of 1929, if I remember correctly, right?
Basically, yes, it all really hit up in 1929. Basically, as you'll recall, World War One had left a lot of the world rather devastated, to say the least. America being among them. Basically, the fallout was that a lot had put a lot of money into the war effort, but when there was no war, there was pretty much no war bonds here and there.
Which means
In turn-
Which means George doesn't have any money left unless the movie's a big hit.
I mean, it took 11 years for that to happen, though. I thought the Great Depression didn't strike until the very late 20s. The World War One ended in 1918.
Well, yes. Let's just say it was something that picked up stone. That's to say, though, okay, the financial situation wasn't the best, but a lot of people were relying on it getting better. That is until the stock market crash.
So yeah, as you can see, the theater is not exactly packed.
Oh dear.
Well, to be fair, there's more of an audience than I would think. So so it looks like but Pepe came. Damn! Those are harsh final words. Farewell. By the way, farewell. Bye. By the way, I never loved you. Bye.
My death is all your fault. Suck on that forever, biatch. Symbolism. Sinking without a hand to help him.
So yeah, things could be going a bit better for our hero.
Yeah.
That was a sad movie. Then, jeez. See, George,
Yeah.
You'd think you'd, at the very least, for your first movie, try something a bit more, upbeat.
I
Probably.
wonder it flopped.
Yeah, needless to say, during the Great Depression, depressing things were the last thing anyone needed.
Yeah, that probably didn't help the movie as well. Yeah.
It'd be like making a World War II documentary during World War II.
You mean you know what this means, Jova? It's 2 times ill timing. It's ill timing in more ways than one. That's just how unlucky is this guy?
Meanwhile, there's a whole crowded line waiting to see Beauty Spot.
So I'm guessing you went to see Beauty Spot instead as well.
Yeah, although to be honest, it was pretty boring.
Uh-oh, a note on the floor. That's never a good sign.
It wasn't being boring. The actress is so full of herself, it leaks onto her screen performance, and it was, every time she was on screen, I just wanted to vomit.
Oh snap, he's getting evicted by his wife.
Well, now what? Well, if it helps you, Dwebs, judging from her reaction in the theater, she seems like she regrets what she said.
Hmm?
And let's be fair, George himself was also guilty of being full of himself early on. So this is just kind of the whole thing about success getting to actors' heads.
Well, speak of the devil.
Yeah, it's a shame, but it does happen.
I was one of the few, as Dwebs would say, I was one of the few people who saw it.
You want a refund? That was just for the press. Oh boy. Aww.
Man, it's an honor. It's an honor to meet you. My father is a big fan. Not me though. I don't care. Jesus.
Can this day get any worse for this man? All that's missing is for him to get pneumonia from being out in the rain for so long.
Symbolism.
They walk all over him. Not a care in the world.
Yeah,
Shadows.
this is yet another old track from back in this time from the 1930s. Young and pretty. Well.
Cute.
Who are you playing in this movie, Cinderella? (1931).
Oh, now he's living in his own apartment.
Damn, no more alcohol.
Well, back to dealing with reality. Remnants of a past.
Wow, he even has to pawn his old the stuff.
It's not even worth that much. Dang. Oh, God, that is one very loyal butler. What?
He doesn't want to keep doing this to him anymore.
Wow. But he insists.
Hi, missed anything?
Basically,
Yes.
he's firing his butler, who he hasn't been able to pay for a year, because he doesn't want to, keep him stuck to a lifestyle of not getting paid.
Ah,
Ah, he even let him keep the car. But he doesn't want another job.
This is for your own good, Clifton.
Hmm. Wow. He's still waiting out there for him. No way. He couldn't have.
Let's see. Well, Clifton is gone. Clifton is left too. Now he's all alone.
He's still got his dog, at least.
True. And now he has to auction all of his things.
God, not even much of a crowd for it.
This particular track was one of my favorites.
Oh. Hmm.
Well, it's official. He has now lost everything from his old career.
Except the dog.
Except the dog, yeah. The poor dog is... and even then, at some point, who knows, maybe we'll have to give away the dog, too.
God forbid the dog dies
just
right
so that,
before his very eyes.
Yeah, just so that the dog doesn't starve. Yeah.
I mean, what's he got left to his name now other than the dog?
Just the dog. Just the dog at this point, really.
Oh. Huh.
Edge
She
of...
did that in secret, but why?
Look what movie's playing in the theater.
Lonely Star. I get it.
Again, the acting is sublime. Absolutely pitch perfect. The actors managed to convey so much with so little. (1932). Oh crap. Well, guys, it's official. George has officially lost it.
I guess that's something he has to lose. His mind.
Sorry, Dwebs, it seems like it's time to commit George to an asylum. You still there, Dwebs? I guess not. They're not real, George. Yeah.
Boop. Huh. Wow. He came back for him, of course he did. Good old Clifton. Even the dog's happy to see him.
Yeah, that dog is a great actor. Hey, guys.
Guardian angel. I get it.
You're so clever, Michelle. So let's see what these all talk. One of these talk is that everybody's talking about.
Huh.
Damn.
Aw, she wanted to pet the dog.
Yeah.
If only he could talk.
Oh, look at that. George was Zorro at one point.
Huh.
All right, and now, Joe, since you catched one of the ones from earlier, now we're about to get yet another Citizen Kane reference.
Oh boy. Uh-uh. Huh. Oh boy.
George, I think you might want to, get some help. Talk to someone.
Yeah, too late. Let's burn this mother down. Yeah, didn't think this through, did ya? Smart dog. If only he could talk. Well, go on, listen to the dog. Go on.
I wonder.
Oh, there you are. Jeez.
No, I was here for a bit.
Okay, you haven't said anything. And earlier I asked you if you were here, and you didn't reply.
Well, I mean, it's a silent movie, so I was silent.
Ah, so you were giving me the silent treatment. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, Joe, go to the corner.
You know what?
Okay,
You know what this reminds me of, Bitwips? The old MGM Vault Fire. Basically, everybody, for those who are not familiar with, basically MGM back in I think it was during the 60s, if I remember correctly, MGM actually had a big fire in their vault where they kept their old negatives. And because of that, a lot of their old stuff was lost. Fortunately, most of it was still be able to be released via other alternative methods that the movies were put on. However, the original negatives for a lot of old MGM movies were completely lost, including some of Tom and Jerry's older cartoons.
So he literally owes that dog his life.
Wow, there's even a chair for the screenwriter. They definitely
That's weird.
they definitely don't do that anymore.
I guess back then the screenwriter was a lot more hands-on with the film development, like, in action.
I'm sorry, but Miss Miller has left the building.
In the blink of an eye.
And I gotta say, wow, she runs very fast.
Yeah.
I'm Batwoman.
Well, that reminds me, I haven't seen that Batwoman TV show.
It's apparently not very good, let's just say.
Yeah. And mind you, that's not even counting the bad advertisements. It's just pretty lame.
Well, the actress left, apparently.
Yeah, even the actress herself apparently was unsatisfied. So
Yeah. Go to him.
not to mention it had quite possibly one of the worst marketing campaigns for a TV show I've ever seen with that god-awful trailer. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, talk about making people not want to even watch your movie. Sorry, TV show.
TV show.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as making a TV show where you have the old incarnation of a character literally say to the new show that you're trying to tout is saying, "You're an awesome show," and anyone who thinks otherwise has a poof mouth with poop opinions. It's not like an actual show in 2020 would have stooped to doing that.
Or have a Teen Titans live action show where Robin in the trailer says "fuck Batman." Because that's
apparently
from
the
what I've heard,
context is completely different.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that show actually turned out to be better than we were expecting based off of the trailer. Amazingly.
I know, but that first impression, my god.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix round here. If we were to either do a commentary or just watch it for lols. But anyway, back to this movie.
Oh, look at that. He kept the original film they did together.
It's funny how she imagines it in slow frame rate.
I am the editor of my own mind.
But of course. Boy, George is gonna be woken up for quite a surprise.
Wow, he even has his own nurse to take care of him.
Yeah, makes sense. House nurses were kind of more common back then.
Not to mention Peppy can afford her.
So I fell asleep in the flaming wreckage of my own home, only to wake up in a luxurious bed. Am I in the Twilight Zone or something?
I love the music cue here. as Peppy starts to run. Wow.
Casablanca, anyone?
Yeah, like it's talking about completely nailing the source material.
Aww, and even the dog's there too. Oh man, I was kind of scared they were gonna have a dog die in the fire just to up the tragedy.
Nah, fortunately not. Yeah, he's probably a bit, yeah.
Being caught in a fire takes a lot out of you.
Peppy, what have we told you before?
Huh. Awkward in hindsight. Please, if you know, whatever you do, just don't burn down my home in another tirade, please.
Please, it costs me a lot of money.
But look at that, just like George did for her back in the day. Now Peppy is trying to see if she can get George back in business. So there you go. No, instead of her having a fall from grace, now she's the one giving George a hand.
Okay.
But John Good, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering where John Goodman had gone.
I'm wondering where Malcolm McDowell went. Like, I mean, didn't they kind of give him a notable credit there and there? He's like just in that one scene.
Well, Malcolm McDowell was just there for the purpose of a cameo of sorts.
God, could you imagine if like he had to leave the production of this movie
I love
so we could film Home Alone 5?
Wait, when was Home Alone 5 released?
2012.
God.
So there you go. You know, it's something that I love the name of the track in this soundtrack, "Charming Blackmail."
So basically, yeah, it's basically, you know, if she can't get George on set, she'll quit.
I love how she has to spot out for John Goodman. Hey, I'm blackmailing you. Get it? Come on. It's not complicated to understand.
Come on, it's just blackmail.
Come on, can you resist my charm?
And my blackmail. Cannot emphasize that enough.
Well, I just won't be able to do anything without my star now, would I?
You know, I can imagine. What if one of those? What if there's one of those people that were like, "Okay, so my star's gone. Okay, I'll be the star."
You're henpecked, boy. Oh, hey, Clifton.
Also, I've noticed the more
So, yeah.
he gets, the thicker his mustache becomes.
Clifton works for Peppy now.
Uh-huh. What a happy coincidence. Dang straight she's looking out for you. Got you a script and everything.
See, the thing is, a lot of people don't talk about this, but a lot of actors who tried to do the transition outright failed because they were when they actually spoke, they had they were bad at vocalizing their emotions and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was getting at earlier.
yeah, it was quite a very dark period for actors in Hollywood.
I mean, some managed to make the shift, like Laurel and Hardy, for example.
Oh yeah, they did, but yeah, unfortunately, a lot didn't.
I forget if I think Abbott and
fact, you-
Costello
on the
managed
sub-
to.
In fact, since we're on the subject of films that were a love letter to something, one of my feature picks might be Stan and Ollie.
Cool.
Interesting.
Put
What's-
it this way, Jova, two of the stars of that Holmes and Watson movie,
Yes.
like barely like a month or so later, they were in Stan and Ollie, a much better received movie that came from Sony Pictures and was also a comedy.
Uh-huh. Mm-mm.
What's up, doggy? What did you find?
Oh, his old stuff.
Good call, Jova. Good call. So yeah, remember that auction scene? Turns out
Yeah.
Peppy bought all of it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we noticed because her driver,
Exactly, yeah.
who had been buying the stuff, went back to her car, and she turned out to be there.
Yeah, that was your hint for this, yeah.
And this is probably what cues him to at least give the talkies a try, because Lord knows she's done a hell of a lot for him, it would seem.
That's the thing, Jova. Unfortunately, he interprets this as a sad reminder of how like she literally everything that was his is now hers. Remember Clifton even? So
Uh-huh.
that's the sad part. His pride still is a thing, sadly.
Oh dear.
God, yeah. Ludwig Birch.
Hear no evil, speak no evil.
Ludwig Birch deserved the Oscar so well. God damn. The score is a masterpiece.
All right, let's check the 2012 Oscars and see which one actually Academy Awards.
If I remember correctly, it won 5, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Jean Dujardin.
What film won Best Score?
This one too.
Yeah,
With-
The Artist. It won ahead of Hugo, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, War Horse, and The Adventures of Tintin.
Ugh. The Adventures of Tintin score is one of John Williams' weakest scores. What
What about War Horse?
I don't know, Warhorse is great, but seriously, Tintin score? That
I mean,
score is...
that's interesting. 2 John Williams scores, and neither one won, the more deserving one.
It's I get the feeling the only reason that score was nominated was because it's John Williams, like really, because if anyone was other composer making that score, nobody would even care.
I have never seen that movie, so I can't really judge.
You're better off watching the 90s cartoon like me and Dwebs and Teo did. It's the definitive adaptation of the books. It's basically just the books put on screen, even visually wise.
You are literally projecting there, buddy boy.
Hmm. People just keep talking and talking and talking.
That's going to be something people on this device called the internet are going to be complaining about in movies sometimes.
Yeah, what are you talking about? The internet will never catch on.
Just like
By
movies.
the way, what's the internet?
Ju- When I talk about webs, like I said before, the films are totally a passing fad. You know, like no future. I'm not kidding. That's what happened when George Méliès tried to buy a camera from the Lumiere brothers. They were convinced, this is just a thing we came up with. That's just going to be a fad. Don't worry about that. Yeah, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Came back to his burnt out apartment.
My life is still a wreck.
Oh, come
My
on.
mustache is getting out of check.
God damn it, Clifton. Of all the times for you to be missing. Fuck it, I'll drive it myself.
Pretty much.
I'll do it.
You were too slow, Clifton.
Jeez, careful where you're driving, lady.
Fun fact, this music track we're hearing right now is taken from Vertigo. Hitchcock's Vertigo.
What, is there another Vertigo I should know of?
Well, I know, I just wanted to specify.
Well, Pedro. It's not like people are above remaking movies from.
Well, there's a thing that studios nowadays only remake movies that are guaranteed to make money, not so much actual,
Oh
like
yeah, because Psycho 1998 was a surefire hit.
Well, yeah, 1998. I'm talking about nowadays. Like, typically nowadays you only see remakes like the ones Disney makes, which is just remakes of their most beloved films. Yeah, I know there's a Black Cauldron remake in the works, and that's actually one of the ones that I'm more looking forward to, because the last Pete's Dragon was a remake that Disney clearly didn't care for, so they didn't force the director to do anything in particular. So the director was actually allowed to do something cool with it.
And the Black Cauldron nearly killed the whole company. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, Dweeb's Disney is kind of unkillable. So, oh shit.
Oh boy. The dog is literally begging you not to do it, man. His paws are on your hand.
Oh my god, this dog is an amazing actor. Like,
I wonder how much training that dog had.
And Nintendo must have been fans of this movie, since they made that dog the mascot of Nintendogs.
for a while, yeah. My guess is Reggie saw this and thought, all right, we found our mascot.
Oh. Wait, was the bang from the gun or was the bang from her crashing into the tree? It was from her crashing into the tree.
Not just that, Jova. You're not silent films don't have intertitles for the sound effects. So that was that was such a clever way to throw the audience off.
I'll say.
That's a great thing that I love about it. Like, this movie does a good job in playing with the conventions of the source material that it's homaging. Good doggy.
Okay, accidentally shot off the gun. Maybe we should put the gun down. Okay. Literally came back from staring into the abyss.
Yes, please let her help you, George.
Are you sure about that?
Well, maybe we can try something else, maybe? Tap dancing. Oh my god.
It's almost like he's having music in a video. A music video? That just seems silly. Wait, I could actually make millions off of this! It's brilliant!
Sorry, sir, that idea was already trademarked.
Sparkle of love.
And yeah, both Jean and Bernice practiced for quite a while to get this number done on like themselves.
So, in a way, it's kind of adapting his talents to the newer age.
Yep. Check this out. I love this upcoming cue here. In a moment. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Oh man. Ta-da!
Oh snap.
There you go, he talked.
Wait, but he sounded like he had a French accent. What the hell? I know, the actor's French.
Well, glad to see you're finally talking, George.
Uh-huh. Maybe that'll help him ease into the talkies. I somehow had a feeling that the film would end with, sound being there completely, though. It just seemed like the perfect way to top things off.
All right, roll sound. And
action, and then the movie ends.
And action for the credits, apparently. All right, and
So I'm going to end the movie before it desinks anymore.
sure. Well, there's nothing
Is there
else.
an after credits scene? Oh no,
No,
there's not.
there's only a bit where the director dedicates this movie to someone who died. I don't know who it is. So the point is, there's a dedication to the movie in the end, but we don't know who it is, so we'll just whatever. All right, so that was The Artist.
Wow,
It-
what
like,
a heart!
This movie is a bundle of joy. Like it's absolutely wonderful. Like it's touching, it's hilarious, it's irresistibly charming, and it perfectly captures the magic of the golden age of cinema. It's like every frame of this movie feels carefully crafted by a filmmaker who has a true deep love and understanding of the medium he's recreating. Like it's absolutely wonderful. The acting is spot on. The music is wonderful. The story is so clever in the way it's told. It's a simple story, but it's told in such a clever, unique way. The cinematography is excellent. It again perfectly recreates the style that it's going for. The subtext is wonderful. It's all so. Like this movie is happiness encapsulated in 100 minutes, basically, because it's such a wonderful experience, regardless of where you're coming from. Even if you haven't seen silent films, this is a fantastic introduction, if you ask me, because it's such a great job in not only being just a good story in general, but being a great little bit of history lesson for people who might not be familiar with what happened during the transition periods. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. It's absolutely wonderful. Dibs.
I enjoyed this movie too. Although bearing in mind I haven't really seen a whole lot of silent movies.
Okay. Well, just this movie on its own. What do you think?
I like I said, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Maybe there were a couple of odd moments, like that woman fetishizing his jacket. But other than that, it was very good.
All right. Did you get to hear I'm guessing you didn't get to hear the score because you were muted.
Oh no, I got to hear the score.
What do you think? What do you think of the score? What do you think of the score?
Oh, I enjoy it as well. And I have heard some songs like that, but mostly that's during Christmas or the odd time, or the odd time I accidentally turn on like a nostalgic 20s nostalgic radio station or something.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah.
Close this out, Chova.
It was a pretty great film. The score was very lavish here. God, it may sound weird, but my favorite character may have in fact have been the dog.
It's interesting you say that, Joa, because one of the review quotes that's on the movie's official website is so wonderful that the audience claps for everybody, even the dog. So the dog also got critical praise. So
a lot's been said about this movie, but yeah, it's very well structured, as well as being sort of a bit of a historical lesson of sorts of the transition of Hollywood and film media in general here and there, showing how pride, overdosage of pride can lead to one's own downfall here and there. And holy cow, our protagonist pretty much stares into the abyss and nearly careens off the edge near the end. Like, that bang was one hell of a fake out here and there. It's so cathartic to actually see a happy ending, though, because, my god, does the protagonist have to go through quite a lot. But, he's a sort of charisma-driven guy who we want to see succeed, despite his faults here and there. And in the end, he does. The actors all do a very good job of being expressive enough, but it feels like a proper mix of modern film and film of back then. Like if it were pretty much touted up to its best, in which it is here. Mm-hmm. So ironically though, it's funny, a silent film managing to be successful in in that day and age. Almost like there's a bit of commentary to be had on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'll admit, I mean, I was expecting a good time, but I wasn't expecting it to be, this much of a good time.
Yeah, this movie is just wonderful. It's like it's an absolute joy to watch, isn't it?
Glad to see it turned out to be a success.
Yeah. This movie had all this, like, it didn't make a big money at the box office because obviously by its very nature. But as far as
I don't know, $130 million on a relatively cheap budget isn't something to sniff at.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Alright.
Nico. What matters overall is that it was seen as a success.
Yeah, true, and it was a big audience and critical darling, and it actually did become one of the few worthy winners at the Academy Awards because it's just wonderful. It's a movie that relies entirely on storytelling. No overproduced special effects, nothing. Like, it's just a story, and that's it. Filmmaking brought back to its core essentials. But yeah, that was The Artist, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. So tune in for, like Liz mentioned this movie earlier, maybe we can watch Hugo, because Hugo was another movie that came out in the same year that was also a love letter to filmmaking, and that one is also wonderful.
But unlike this movie, didn't do well at the box office.
Sadly. Although to be fair, Scorsese fortunately has gotten to a point in his career where he doesn't need to, like, he has other avenues he can explore at Netflix with. So, all right, let's see you for the next whatever thing we do.
All right.
See ya.